All right, everyone. If I sound like shit, I'm sorry. I feel like shit too. But we got to talk about that One Piece greatness. No rest for the weary. One Piece chapter 1050. How do I feel about it? What do I think? I think overall, you guys know, I was expecting something more. I felt like things were not wrapped up last week in a great way necessarily. So I was expecting not explosives or Kaido to come back from the dead or anything, but more backstory probably. This was the wrap up. This is Oda telling us that, hey, we're getting towards the end of the arc. We're starting to get into celebrations. Let me talk about a cover story really quickly, because a cover story, that's an example or just how I get into my own head, right? Because for the cover story, when it first happened, right, I saw the two people. I'm like, okay, more than likely Reiju and Ichiji. But what if, and this chapter is somewhat telling us, nah, it was just Reiju and Ichiji. And of course, there's a part of me that's asking the question, why would Ichiji care, right? Because he doesn't care about his siblings necessarily. Like, they don't have emotions. Reiju, she cares for the most part, but it could just be orders from Judge. For the cover story, I wouldn't say it's disappointing, but I did hype myself up a little bit by all those different theories I put out there about, hey, Blackbeard or Crocodile, right? And I really didn't believe any of them, right? It was just like, these are things that would be awesome, but more than likely, it's who we think they are, and it was. Oda could still be throwing us off by showing these two, and the two people we initially saw could be different people. But we gotta wait and see, because when I look at their feet, they have the boosters on. They wouldn't come to the island without already being in their raid suit, would they? So it could be Oda throwing us off, but so far it seems like it was Ichiji and Reiju. Now, back to One Piece, or the chapter. The illustration shows that Kaido is literally in the core of the island. And what it seems like is gonna happen is, because of this, it's causing an eruption. And that's gonna lead to the opening of the borders, I guess involuntarily, because Momonosuke doesn't wanna open the borders anymore. That's a weird one. I'm assuming it's because he saw the ships, or either he feels like it's not time. He's gonna wait for people to heal up or rejuvenate. I don't know. But he's saying he doesn't wanna open the borders yet. It's perplexing. Yamato catching Luffy is wholesome, just how she was looking at him. And thinking about the journey that they've had, it's like she always believed in him, you know, and her connections to Ace and just Luffy being able to be the one to, I guess, liberate Wano. That's cool. That felt really cool. Hitetsu, who people feel like is Sukiyaki, Oden's dad. He's thinking back to Yasu and Toko. It's a very touching moment, right? And I think based on just how people are talking about the chapter, you guys have to understand that all these things transpired over 20 years. I know for us, for some people, they are worn out, burnt out from Wano, and they're like, oh my God, right? Even initially when I'm reading the chapter, I'm like, okay, I've gotten the Yasu flashback several times in between anime and manga. Let's get to it. But then I get the Toko moment, and I'm like, okay, that pulls on your heartstrings. It does. And I think I've identified what the issue could possibly be with Wano, and why we're seeing so many people come out and talk about why they either don't like it or they feel like it's been disappointing. I've mentioned the hype before, right? The hype outside of the story, where it's like people were just willing to get to Wano. But I think the real truth about it is burnout. People are tired of being in this place because we focus on so many characters, right? But then we focus on a group of characters that things get stale, right? And I think people are starting to get just a bit bored or just burnout, right? It's like, oh my gosh, like, I get the Yasu thing. I get that the people have been struggling for a long time and we move on. You know, I understand that. So I think overall we got to see where things go from here, but we can't forget about the sacrifices that people made. And I think that's the whole point of this chapter. Like, even though Oda did not bring up Oden, right? Thinking about Yasu, you can't help but think about Oden's sacrifice, and then seeing the magma and just all that different stuff. It's like, you cannot help but think about Oden's sacrifice. And also seeing Yamato, you think about Oden. That may be the ploy, what Oda's trying to do, to make you think about these different people when you see these other characters. It's hard not to think about Oden when I see Yamato. I think about Oden, I think about Ace. And so this chapter is somewhat about reflection, but also about moving forward. What's next? But some of the chapter makes you think as well, right? Like, okay, what's going on? Is this the final thing? Do we have things to look forward to? I gotta say, the way Hitetsu rubs his eyes because he has to go around his nose, it's hilarious. For the most part, they're reflecting. We get a reactions to Kaido being defeated. Law and Beppo, Kid Killer. Apu's like, wait. Straw Hat took down Kaido, right? Where it's like, man, maybe I should have allied with him. We're seeing most of the scabbards. We haven't seen Ashura Doji in a long time, which could indicate that he's dead. Kanjuro should be dead as well. I am not convinced, or I don't feel strongly about those takes, but they should be dead. It's a celebration. I mean, Zoro's still knocked out though, so that's a bit scary. And Chopper's saying there's a lot of casualties. So Oda's building up, okay, post Wano, we won, but a lot of people sacrificed their lives, which to be honest, at times it didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like people were sacrificing a lot. It was just, all right, people were getting knocked out, etc., but it didn't feel like people were dying. Momo's talk to Zunisha, it's odd. I like Momo taking control like that though. I like him saying, no, I've decided, right? I have decided not to open the borders yet, which I think someone probably changes his mind, but Momo's growing some Dragon Balls, right? He's at a point where it's like, bro, I've been through so much. At this point, I can be assertive. He's growing up. And I think we have moments in his character arc where it's like, okay, come on, why are we regressing? But from A to Z, probably the most progression from any character. I love it. Absolutely love it. Even physically, more than any character. I know we have not seen his actual adult form yet. That's another reveal Oda is holding out from us, but I really can't wait. Kaido's force is still fighting back. That makes sense. Something that they talked about, CP0, if you remember. They talked about how just taking out the generals or the commanders, that's not enough because Kaido has so many forces and this is meritocracy. So people are going to still try to prove themselves even when the generals are down. So them bending to Yamato's will, I guess they're just scared of the young master, right? I can't say young master without thinking of Doflamingo, man. It's ingrained within me. There's a panel here where it looks like Kaido falling into the magma and people are saying it's Kaido and Big Mom. It looks like Kaido, just different angles. It's weird. It's hard to discern what it is. People are saying is Big Mom and Kaido dead? I don't think, no, Kaido has a magma form. I don't think he's dead. Is he out? I think he's out. But with the eruption, I do think they come back to the surface and they are found and transported or whatever, but they're not dead. No way in hell. Big Mom literally fell underwater and just lost her memories. So I don't think magma does anything to her either. People are saying Luffy won the battle of the sky, so it's time for him to win the battle of the land. I think it's over. I think that is it. I do think we still get more from Kaido, but I think in regards to the fight, that's it. I really love Momonosuke coming to the people and reassuring them that it's okay, even in his dragon form. The fear they have about that form, he's completely changing that perception, which is dope. Again, growing up before our eyes. I love the guy that completely started to celebrate after seeing Kurosaki saying, you can't fake that beauty. Denjiro here coming in, somewhat saying, yo, we have a new shogun we have to basically appoint, which it's implying that it's Kurosaki, but I think Oda could be throwing us for a loop. I mean, a lot of people have talked about Kurosaki being the next shogun, but it's against Wano principles and just how things typically are in societies or in those times. But we gotta see. Denjiro making this decision is a bit weird because it's like, why do you have the authority to make this decision? Momonosuke was just assertive a few panels ago. I would think it would be up to him. Or the scabbards coming together. Denjiro saying, no, there's a new shogun to be appointed. A bit odd, not gonna lie, a bit odd, but we gotta see where this goes. People are shitting on the chapter. I don't think people like the conclusion of Luffy versus Kaido because of the punch thing and just expectations of how that fight should end. I didn't love it, right? I still think it was all right, but this chapter is not a bad chapter. It's touching on some heartstrings. It is telling a story within the story that we have to pay attention to, reflection, moving forward, getting past your demons, right? The perception of Momonosuke, looking at it, seeing Kaido, but thinking, oh, hold on. Momonosuke is changing how we view people or view dragons necessarily, right? Overall, we're still in a wait and see mode because there's a part of me that's still like, wait, I feel like there's still things to happen. So guys, you give me your thoughts. I'm sorry I sound like shit, but I really wanted to talk about this chapter today. So give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video. If you did, let me know how you feel about the ending, right? It seems like Luffy versus Kaido is done. How do you feel about it? Be honest. Like, just give your thoughts. Please be respectful, guys, because the ban hammer will be coming down if you can't conduct yourself in a comment section of a YouTube video, right? But give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost.